Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're doing something a little different. We've got just one source to work with.
Deceptively simple.
Right. But this single source is, I think, a masterclass in strategic communication. We're looking at the official debut announcement for a brand new light novel. It's called Karaoke Christmas.
It really is like reading tea leaves, isn't it? Our mission here is to treat this marketing announcement not just as a summary, but, as a blueprint.
Okay, it's a blueprint.
Yeah, we need to extract the core themes, the emotional scope, and the critical narrative conflict that the publisher is telegraphing to us right now. This is basically your shortcut to being fully informed before a single review drops.
And we have to start with the detail that, for me, raises the stakes immediately. This isn't some seasoned author just adding another title to their list.
No, not at all.
The announcement makes it explicitly clear this is Kurogami Daichi's first light novel debut. That's a massive signal.
It absolutely is. When a publisher puts that much emphasis on a debut, it means they're positioning the author and the work as their next big thing.
A major launch.
A major launch. It implies a huge investment and a ton of confidence that this story is delivering something, fresh and impactful. We should probably approach this knowing every single word was chosen for a reason.
It has set very high expectations.
Very high specific expectations.
All right, so let's dig into the fundamentals they're establishing. The title itself, Karaoke Christmas. It just instantly places it, right?
Oh, yeah. Contemporary fiction.
And more specifically, the light novel genre.
And that format is so crucial. I mean, even for an audience that knows the term, it suggests that while the story will have these big emotional stakes, laughter, tears, all of that, it's likely going to use light novel conventions.
Like what, exactly?
Snappy dialogue, probably a heavy reliance on the protagonist's inner thoughts, maybe shorter, really focused chapters. So if the conflict comes from, say, a misunderstanding...
Which it often does.
Right. Then that deep dive into a character's internal perspective is going to be the main way it gets resolved.
That makes the conflict feel much more personal, which is a great angle for a debut. But maybe the most intentional thing here is the release date. It's not just the holidays.
No, it's so specific.
It's December 24, 2025. Precisely.
That is a deliberate narrative choice. It anchors the entire emotional experience. I mean, in Japanese contemporary fiction, Christmas Eve is often the focal point for huge romantic or friendship milestones. It's different from the family-focused Christmas Day.
So by releasing it on the 24th.
They're promising a story that hits its emotional high point right as the holiday begins. It just maximizes that anticipatory kind of intimate pressure.
A pressure cooker.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And the announcement really goes on to define the emotional guarantee they're making. It promises that full spectrum. Laughter, tears, heartwarming moments.
They're essentially saying, we know what you want from a holiday story.
And we're delivering all of it.
But the key, I think, is that they wrap those universal promises around a context they insist will resonate with readers from all walks of life. That's the first little hint that the story's scope is broader than just a simple local friendship tale.
Okay, so they're building something universal on a very specific foundation.
Exactly.
And that emotional peak needs a physical location. So let's move into that, the grounded foundation. This isn't just, a street in Japan. The setting is anchored to the area around Nakamozu Station.
And that geographical anchor is essential. It turns the setting from some generic stage into a real, tangible place. Nakamozu Station implies, a mix of that bustling modern life, but also a localized community charm.
Which is the perfect backdrop.
Perfect for exploring the tension between old traditions and new global connections.
And within that tangible setting, the sensory details are immediate. We get the culinary element, spearheaded by a character named Yuki Tanaka.
The provider of culinary wonders and holiday feasts. Food is almost never just food in this genre. It's a vehicle for cultural exchange, for comfort, for care. Yuki's feasts aren't just background noise. They're the literal common ground where these characters come together.
So when the announcement promises a heartwarming experience,
it's often delivered through the shared warmth of a meal. The food establishes this baseline of joy that the conflict is inevitably going to disrupt.
And the atmosphere pillars are so specific, too. We have the quiet charm of a local bakery, and then that's juxtaposed with the high-energy, emotionally raw setting of cozy karaoke sessions.
That contrast tells us everything. The bakery suggests routine, domesticity, the quiet support system.
The day-to-day.
The day-to-day. But karaoke sessions, that's where things get real. They're intimate, vulnerable. That's where truths get shouted out, where confessions happen. The story needs both the stability of the bakery and the release of the karaoke room.
Especially under holiday pressure.
Especially then.
Okay, so speaking of friendship under pressure, this moves us right to the engine of the story. The central trio. This is what's said to generate that unexpected conflict.
Right. So first we have Ishiki Nakamura. Seems to be the main point of view, the lens for the story.
And then Akira Yamamoto, who is immediately described as the compassionate childhood companion.
The anchor. The steady, reliable, emotional anchor for our protagonist.
But the piece that I think elevates this whole thing, that moves it beyond a standard story, is the third friend, Bibian Moon. And they specify she is from Taiwan.
This is it. This is the absolute core insight from the source. Bibian Moon's inclusion is not incidental. It's the source of the stories. It's specific gravity.
Her origin is the point.
Exactly. By naming the character's origin, the author, Kurogami Daichi, is signaling that this story is fundamentally about the rich tapestry of cultural connection and, more importantly, the challenges in blending traditions.
But why dwell on that specific detail? Couldn't the story just be about cultural connection in general?
It could, but being specific gives the conflict structure. It tells us the friction won't be generic. It opens up real nuance, right? Maybe it's different linguistic cues or different ideas of what the holiday even means. It shifts the weight from just personal drama to cross-cultural understanding.
So you're saying the publisher's claim of blending traditions is a narrative promise, not just a nice description.
It's a promise, and the announcement backs that up immediately by saying that while blending traditions ignites joy, it can also spark unexpected conflict. They're directly linking the source of the joy to the source of the pain.
That phrase, unexpected conflict, is so interesting. It suggests the friction isn't coming from a bad place, not from malicious intent.
No.
It's from a failure to anticipate how cultural differences actually play out in close friendships, especially under the emotional strain of the holidays.
And that gives the story real thematic teeth. If the conflict were just a simple falling out, they wouldn't need to specify Bibian's origin. The conflict has to come from the difficulty of navigating assumptions and expectations that differ because the characters come from two distinct national contexts.
All while trying to keep that cozy friendship from the bakery and the karaoke room alive.
Exactly.
So the goal is really about building a bridge. The whole emotional journey is about the central theme. The holidays aren't just about celebration, but about the hard work of understanding and embracing differences.
Which is a heavy theme, but it's packaged perfectly for a debut light novel. Kurogami Daichi is using this very marketable, warm framework of a Christmas story, friends, food, music, to explore a deeper, contemporary issue.
Globalization and cultural integration.
Right. It suggests a debut that's aiming for both high emotional readability and, some real substance.
Okay, let's pull all these threads together for you. Here's the full strategic breakdown from this one announcement. You've got a contemporary light novel, Karaoke Christmas. It's the debut from Kurogami Daichi, set specifically around Nakamozu Station.
The release date, December 24th, 2025, anchors the story to that high-pressure, intimate holiday moment. The core trio is Ishiki, our main perspective, Akira, the compassionate friend, and the culturally significant Bibian Moon from Taiwan.
And these characters bond over the tangible joy of Yuki Tanaka's cooking. But the real engine of the story is the explicit conflict that comes from trying to blend their traditions. The story uses this unexpected conflict to drive home the importance of understanding and embracing cultural differences.
So looking at just this one source tells us everything we need to know about the publisher's goals. They're positioning Karaoke Christmas as meaningful contemporary fiction. It's a book that uses the fun structure of a light novel to explore complex themes of cultural friction and empathy.
This isn't just Christmas fluff.
Not at all. It's a commentary on friendship in a globalized world.
So the anticipation is clearly built. They promise a full journey, a real mix of laughter and tears, all coming to a head on that high-stakes Christmas Eve. You are now fully briefed on the goals, conflicts, and unique setting of this debut.
And as you think about this blueprint, here's a final thought for you, based purely on this material. Given that the novel highlights both great joy from food and unexpected conflict from blending traditions, and knowing the goal is understanding and embracing differences, which of the four named characters, Ishiki, Bibian, Akira, or Yuki Tanaka, is structurally the most critical catalyst for that friction?
Interesting.
Does the conflict start with the person bringing the new culture, the ones trying hardest to keep the peace, or maybe, just maybe, the ones applying that fragile foundation of comfort and tradition? Something to mull over as you wait for that December 24th launch.